Welcome back to another Minecraft snapshot. We are now in the first snapshot for Minecraft 1.16. And as you can see behind me, there's a whole bunch of items that have been added and a whole bunch of new biomes that we're going to cover in this snapshot. So let's get first started off with the brand new items they added into this snapshot. As always, there'll be a link down to the Minecraft blog post just in case you want to check out all the new features that they've added to the snapshot and all the bug fixes and the stuff that's not covered in the snapshot over here. But you can find that link down in the description down below to find the complete list of all the changes in the Minecraft 1.16 Snapshot 20W06A. Now, one of the new blocks added to the game are called the Ancient Debris. Now, the Ancient Debris is actually found in lower depths of the Nether region, so you might come encounter with a whole bunch of lava when you mine for it. I've done some tests to try and see what level you can find the Ancient Debris at, and it's a bit inconsistent, so all I know you have to just mine very low to find this debris. And what you actually use this debris is to make these scraps pieces over here. These are netherite scraps, which you get from putting the ancient debris inside a furnace or a blast furnace to make it go faster. And with these netherite scraps, you can actually make these brand new ingots called the, I don't have them out over here, the netherite ingots. The netherite ingots are actually some very expensive ingots because how you craft these netherite ingots, you actually have to combine gold over here with some netherite scrap over here. And it takes 4 of each in a crafting table, just like that, to make just a single ingot like this. So these ingots are actually very valuable, and we'll actually go into how these ingots apply to the new armors and tools over here. So since netherite is actually very hard to mine and obtain, they actually add some pretty cool effects to netherite. The first one being that your items will actually float in lava. So say for instance you jump in a lava pool and you happen to die there, your items won't get lost when you go into the lava, they'll just float to the top. So you just gotta put a fire potion on, then you'll be able to get your items back no problem. Another thing too is they also have a higher enchant value than diamond armor. The tools actually work faster and longer than diamond armor. They do more damage than diamond tools, and they have a higher toughness and durability than diamond armor. So these are the new tools to get. So people with a whole bunch of gold farms, and I guess people who love going in the nether, are going to be mining for the ancient debris just to get some netherite ingots. But they are kind of expensive to do, so it's probably not going to be an item they can farm a whole bunch of. But once you have a full set of armor and tools, it should be a pretty good tool to use. Now, just doing a quick look at the items over here, you can see that the attack damage for the sword is higher than the attack damage of diamond, and it goes for the same for all the rest of the tools over here. Seeing how the attack damage is just slightly higher, and if we use the pickaxe over here, we can see that it's mined slightly faster than a diamond pickaxe, but it's very hard to tell in this small test over here. Now I've given myself a full set of netherite armor and a whole bunch of tools over here, so I'm going to do the unthinkable and put myself into survival mode, game mode, survival, and then take a nice plunge into the lava, and let's see if the items happen to float to the top. And that looks like it's all my items floating at the top over here in the lava. That is actually so cool to see. Oh my goodness, this is gonna make mining in the nether a whole lot easier. And we're now looking at the newest mob added to the game, the Hoglin. Now in the blog post they said the Hoglins don't do much right now, and let's see if we can get some data from the Hoglins just to see if we can predict to see what they're gonna make these guys drop or do. So looking at this, it looks like the Hoglins have a max health of 20 hearts, and they also have brain memories, which probably do something with remembering who attacked them. So maybe the Hoglins might all become hostile once a player attacks them, but other than that, they don't seem to have anything special with them right now. Everything seems to be pretty basic and the same for most mobs. And that's 40 right there, and it seems like the Hoglin dropped just rotten flesh over here. I don't know if it's going to drop anything else, but what I noticed when I was hitting the Hoglins, look at the hitbox of the Hoglins. It's right down right at the center of its belly over here, and I kept trying to hitting the Hoglin like that, but I kept missing, and that's why I broke the chest over there. So it seems like they have a small hitbox. It might only be a block wide, so we'd probably be able to farm these guys using the old animal farm technique in the overworld. Just now we have a nice food source in the nether if they add some food source drops to the Hoglins. I think it might be pork chops that they drop because they kind of look like devilish pigs, so that's probably going to be something they're going to add onto these Hoglins in the future. Now there are 3 new biomes that they added to the nether: the Crimson Forest, Soul Sand Valley, and the Warped Forest biome. Right now we're actually in the warp forest biome, and you can see it has these blue blocks over here that are now called warped wart blocks, and their stems right over here, the warped stem. Now what I've noticed actually flying to the biomes, if I go to this one to that one, you see how the back tint turns from purple to blue right away? That's probably a bug, and they're probably going to fix that in the future, because I know with the new biomes they have in the overworld, it kind of blends into the new color, but since it's the first snapshot, there's probably a whole lot of room for improvement. Now over here you can see also that the biomes also feature some bone blocks over here, so these are going to be naturally spawned in these biomes over there, and they also add some warped mycelium, but those blocks we'll get into later in the future in this snapshot. Now this biome here is the Crimson Forest, and you can see it's actually probably the polar opposite of the last biome that we were just in, and it actually uses nether warp blocks as a tree and has the stem over here just in the red color, the crimson color actually. And you can see they actually added a new light source to the game also, the shroom light. That we'll go into later on in the future when we look at all the other blocks in the biomes. Now let's just go to the third biome that they added, which is right next to the warp forest, the Soul Sand Valley. Now Soul Sand Valley is exactly what it says. It's a valley filled with soul sand and two different variants of soul sand. We actually have the soul soil over here and the original soul sand over there. Now the soul soil has a pretty good property. It has to do with fire, but we'll get onto later that in the snapshot, just because we're going to just check out the biomes in a full like this. And you see that it actually has the blue tint like I showed before, and that one has the purple tint. So the crimson has the normal red, the warp forest has the purple, and the Soul Sand Valley seem to have the blue tint. Now all the blocks you see in front of me here are all the new blocks added to this new snapshot, and there's a lot to go through. We have right over here the shroom light that we saw before, and you can tell that this loses actually a block light of 14 just by doing the F3 screen over there. So it's a pretty cool new light source that we have that's kind of a mix of glowstone and I guess the redstone lamps. Now over here, like we saw before, we have the crimson stem, which is also in the crimson forest. We have the soul soil, which is in the Soul Sand Valley, and we have the warp sand, which is in the warp forest. So they're in the representative biomes, and they're actually wood variants. You can see over here, if I search for crimson, you'll see that the crimson stem right over here has all the wood variants buildings, so you can have doors, signs, slabs, pressure plates, everything. There have been a lot of blocks added to this game, and the same thing goes for over here, the warped. If I go over here, warp has the same thing over here with all the wood variants over there, so they've added some red and blue wood blocks I guess to the game, which is pretty cool over there. Now another light source that we have are the soul fire torches over here and the lanterns, and the torches are actually the same thing as making a regular torch, just with the soul soil over here. And to make the lantern, all you have to do is put the soul fire lantern or soul fire torch inside some iron nuggets to make the lantern over there. So now we have blue light, and that's actually going to be pretty useful for me for a certain series that I'm doing. Now over here at the bottom we have some new vegetation that they added to the game. We have the crimson fungi, the warp fungi, we have the nether sprouts, and we have the crimson roots, and we have the warped roots. Now that's pretty cool that they added these to the game, and they said if you use bone meal on the crimson fungi and the warp fungi, we should be able to grow these trees over there. So I'll go back into Nether in a second to test this out to see if it actually works. Now and also thing too, if you use bone meal on netherite, it actually spreads these new blocks that they have in the game, crimson nylium or nylium. So that's I guess the dirt variant of the crimson blocks, just because it looks like it's like the dirt pretty much equivalent to netherrack, I guess you can say. But it also does the same thing for the warp nylium, and these new blocks over here, the warped wart blocks. It's like a tongue twister for every one of these blocks over there. Are a whole bunch of new blocks that they added to the game, and I am very happy they did an update to Nether. Yeah, I guess I'm pretty happy, because now the Nether is just not this giant open lava pool where you can lose your stuff, because we have the items that now float in the lava. But let's real quick go into the Nether and then test out to see if we can grow some trees using the crimson fungi and some bone meal. So you can see right here, if I put the bone meal on top of the netherrack over here, it just spreads out the, I guess this is the warp Nylium? I have to get that name down pat. Nylium over here, and it depends which biome you're in, just because it will do the same thing for the crimson in the crimson forest. So now let's really quick put a warp fungi over here and bone meal this up, and yes, of course it grew a pretty big tree and actually grew with the shroomlights on the inside. So that seems to be how these grow in the biome. So you can probably make a little farm if you want to get these blocks over there to get all your different blue variants in the game. Now, and also a block that they added were the weeping wart fungi, and these are actually found in the crimson wart biome over here, and you can see it's sort of like the vine version of the vines, I guess you can say, and they grow from the top over here all the way to the bottom, making a 3D pattern like this. So it's kind of like a vine with a 3D pattern. Now, in terms of new features added into this game, patrols actually no longer spawn when a player is close to the village, and there's a couple other bug fixes that you can check out in the blog post, and that link for that blog post will be down in the description down below, where you can find out all the errors that they fixed and more information on the biomes, just in case you want to read it up for yourself, or you can just go into the Minecraft world and then fly around like I did and have a look for that. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this first snapshot of Minecraft 1.16. This has been Tracking 25, and I'll see you guys in the next video.